あら、どうなんでしょうか。
Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
ウィル・スミスにやられました。
Wow, dude. It was a G.I. Jane joke.
G.I. Jane のジョークだったんです。
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television.
I find a seconder usually when I propose this, but I don't care. I don't need a seconder. My own opinion is enough for me, and I claim the right to have it defended against any consensus, any majority, anywhere, any place, any time. And anyone who disagrees with this can pick a number, get online, and kiss my hand.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed are greater than the legal services provided by other lawyers. I'm Harry Still. You found the Backstory Podcast, number 122. Have Mr. Paul Ripp joining us from Fairhope. How are you today, Mr. Ripp?
Very good, and let me make it clear I am not a lawyer. so I can say a little bit more than some people can, I guess.
There you go. So what did you think of the slap and the aftermath of, as of today, Will Smith has resigned the Academy of Motion Picture Arts?
Well, I think that's the least he could do, and will be surprised if they don't come back and even hit him with something more.
Yeah, so
I mean, hell, he could have been arrested right there on the spot.
My whole thing about celebrity, anybody else. If the guy Curtin left over here walked over and slapped Chris Rock in the middle of the Oscars, he'd have been arrested, form tackled, and drug out on live television, right?
Right.
But because of our celebrity status, nothing seems to happen.
Well, I can tell you one thing, Harry. Will Smith took a nosedive within just a few minutes. He lost a tremendous amount of respect from a lot of people.
Well, I would think so.
I mean, my God, that was way
got nothing to do with him breaking the law and nobody arresting him for it. You see my point?
Well, not only that, but these are comedians. They're all the time telling jokes about each other. And Smith's wife has a TV show where she has gone in depth and personal explaining her problems. So, I don't know. I agree with you. Somebody should have done something immediate. Celebrity status seems to get you out of a lot of things.
Doesn't it, though?
Even in Baldwin County.
That's my point. I just love the celebrity status. Okay, so do you know who Madison Cawthorn is? So he's a legislator, and he says that D.C. is an orgy-filled, cocaine-fueled house of cards. So, not to disappoint, guess what the House did this week?
A bill to legalize marijuana passes the House, but it faces
called the
dim
MORE
prospects
Act
in the Senate.
Right.
However, that's promising.
The U.S. House on Friday passed a bill to end the federal ban on marijuana, which has created legal headaches for users and businesses in the United States that have legalized it, though the measures was seen as unlikely to pass the Senate. It passed by 220 to 204, with a few Republicans supporting the measure. The Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act, sponsored by Democratic Representative Gerald Nadler of New York, which is in the process of legalizing the drug, removes marijuana from the list of controlled substances and eliminates criminal penalties for individuals who grow, distribute, or possess it.
And that's what should happen.
And so here's the laundry list of different states and how they deal with cannabis and cannabis-related products. Of course, we passed a medical marijuana act last year, Paul. The rules for who can apply still haven't been finished. And so do you know who Dr. Strutz is here?
Correct.
So, an Alabama bill that would require all women between the ages of 13 and 50 to show a negative pregnancy test before being able to buy a medical marijuana is unprecedented and clearly unconstitutional, advocates say. The bill, introduced by practicing OBGYN and State Senator Larry Strutz, Republican of Tuscumbia, would require all women of childbearing age to either test negative on a doctor-administered pregnancy test or show documentation from a certified medical lab that they are not pregnant. So anyhow, Emma Roth, a staff attorney at the National Advocates for Pregnant Women, said that no state has a law mandating women show a negative pregnancy test before obtaining medical marijuana. This is completely unprecedented because it is so clearly unconstitutional, she said.
Congratulations, Alabama.
So Tim James says the state is pushing drug cartels with medical marijuana legalization.
That's Tim James, also known as the James Gang.
Yeah, the James Bridge Gang. And so I thought we would throw in a little ad here for Bienville Square on 420.
420.
What's that gal that has the Canabama podcast? Anyway, she's throwing a thing, and if you want to go somewhere where everybody's going to get arrested and put in the same paddy wagon, join us down there, won't you?
Well, I tell you, Harry, in the I like the Lagniappe article, the ad in there where it says cannabis that night, the 420 celebration cannabis discussion panel. There also is going to be a blunt rolling contest. There'll be vendors and giveaways and samples and swag. I think that we need to attend so we can make a personal report on that.
Samples and swag, huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If the House of Representatives gets its way, this will no longer be a federal crime. On Friday, the House voted to remove marijuana from the Controlled Substances Act list and sent the bill to the Senate.
We are here today to vote to get America high.
That's the way most House Republicans seem to see it.
And what are Democrats doing today? Legalizing drugs. Legalizing drugs and using American tax dollars to kickstart and prop up the marijuana industry.
But Democrats call comments like that scare tactics.
It's like they saw reefer madness in middle school and never got over it.
Smoking the soul-destroying reefer, they find a moment's pleasure, but at a terrible price. Debauchery, violence, murder, suicide, and the ultimate end of the marijuana addict. Hopeless insanity. See this important bill now, before it is too late.
And to think that used to be a nationally shown movie.
Well, this is the
propaganda.
This is the after school special of my generation. You ready?
Yeah.
My name's Jack. I used to be the invisible man. I mean, nobody knew I was there until they wanted to. Even my brother got a little tired of me hanging around.
Jack, get off of my back!
So I found some new friends. Now things are great. Almost.
Except you're still Scott Baio.
Super Stone Jack. But tell me something. Who's the real Jack? Jack.
Scott Baio stars in Stone, Monday on HBO.
By the Senate and signed by the president, the bill would drop some federal penalties and also invest in areas hard hit by the war on drugs. But House members disagree on whether those communities would benefit.
The war on drugs disproportionately impacted Black, Latino, and minority communities. And they tore them apart with a very targeted incarceration strategy.
What's worse, we want to target those individuals and communities who are historically most impacted by the harm of illegal drugs and provide federal funding to help enable criminals to open and operate now legal drug businesses.
Even if the bill becomes a federal law, it can still be a crime in individual states, depending where you live. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Harry, you remember Iran-Contra?
Yeah.
And the drugs that were brought in to the L.A. and those areas and filtered into the minority neighborhoods. I mean, that was
okay.
That's a fact.
Okay, Paul.
That's a fact.
Let me tell you what a fact is. Okay, that if you got the money and you go to the University of Alabama, you can get any drug you want. Is that a fact?
That's it. Well, that's a fact.
Okay, is that or is
here.
that poor minority students or children?
Well, no, we're talking about prosecution.
Oh, is that what we're talking? That's not what she said.
Okay, well,
that's not what she said.
What I'm talking
she said,
about.
okay, well, that's not what she said, and that's not what I asked. So I don't know why you beat me over the head with who gets prosecuted. She said,
I'm talking about prosecuted.
She said that the effects of drugs have been disproportionate in the minority community, and that's not true. So,
okay, well, let me ask you this, since we're going to get to it very soon. How about let's just change the word drugs to guns and then apply it to what's going on in Mobile, and how would you defend that?
I don't know. So, Panama City Beach Spring Break 2022, Alabama defendants trade roll tides with a Florida judge who wants to know, why did you bring a gun to the beach? Why indeed, young man. So, Florida officials confiscate 75 guns amid spring break surge. There are no words that can describe the way they have behaved.
Too easy to get them, baby.
Any advice on this one, Mr. Rip?
Yes. You got kids carrying guns, for Christ's sakes.
It's the
they
guns,
should have a damn
right?
permit
it's
and have
guns.
to be a certain age.
I thought it would be the guns' fault. Yes, I knew that it would. So law enforcement officials have confiscated 75 guns, which they spread out on a table during a news conference Monday in Panama City Beach. Bay County Sheriff Tommy Ford said 161 people were booked into the county jail during a difficult, trying, and dangerous weekend. He noted 78 of those arrested were from Alabama. Each one of those 75 illegal firearms represent a violent armed encounter with law enforcement, Ford said. The weekend could have very well resulted in tragedy of law enforcement loss of life, a citizen's loss of life, and even a bad guy's loss of life. Justice Thomas is still under scrutiny. His wife made several contacts with the White House Chief of Staff in the January 6th riot and some other communications.
Insurrection, January 6th, insurrection.
Yeah, whatever. One man's freedom fighter. So 8 pounds of fentanyl among drugs turned up in Baldwin traffic stop. Now that is a substantial amount of drugs right there, ladies and gentlemen.
It is, but you know what, Harry? Here's what we should be asking ourselves. Where was that? I-10, right?
Yes, Mr. Rip. Tell me how this has to do with Iran-Contra or something like that.
All I'm saying is that they're trolling. Everybody's in the damn drug business. The cops are too. This is forfeiture. They get money off of this. They're out there trolling I-10 to make a big bust like this.
Okay. Absolutely they are. There's a task force. Did you see that?
I know that. Well, I know, but it is being monetized. They are profiting from busts that they're making. Yes, they are, Harry.
What
Don't
else
tell
are you
me
going to
they're
do?
not.
Okay, what else are you going to do?
They're taking cars, they're taking vehicles, then they sell the cars, then they sell the vehicles.
Understood. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't go.
They can't have the
50
U-Haul trailer
pounds
though. They can't keep the U-Haul
because
trailer.
it's rented.
They
But
gotta
the truck that he was pulling it with, they can. U-Haul's
They sure
U-Haul's an innocent third party.
But you know, if you look at the picture really close, you can tell that this is being transported from a state where it's got to be legal because everything is packaged and, you know, look at the top table. Everything's in fancy packages and labeled and everything.
Yes,
so
it's labeled Payweed and Butterweed candy bars mimicking Payday and Butterfinger. Reefer cups instead of Reese's cup. THC Snickers and THC WIX bars. Yep. The war on drugs, ladies and gentlemen.
A Georgia man.
So, Orange Beach voted unanimously to break away from the Baldwin County school system, and it's no longer a question of if the city of Orange Beach will break away from Baldwin County School Board and form its own, nor is it a matter of when. A town hall meeting Wednesday night, Mayor Tony Kennan said stakeholders have been meeting behind the scenes. Of course they have.
Definitely, and
how
that's
they gonna
just
pay
another
for,
layer of government.
How they going to pay for all of it, Mr. Ritt? With an increase to the lodgings tax.
Absolutely. You got a golden goose down there. Get that egg.
More and more of the same. So State Senator Greg Albritton's bill is dead. Did you hear that?
Right.
You heard
That's
it here
the
first.
Alabama lottery down the toilet for the 23rd time.
And then, of course, the child parenting plan in all custody cases, that bill is progressing.
A good idea.
And I'm just going to say about I'm going to do 15 seconds on the war in Ukraine. It's a stalemate. It's a quagmire. There's supposed to be talks in Turkey between the presidents of the two countries. I'm not hopeful. They supposedly have taken this city back. It's in ruins. All the electrical lines are down. The water lines have been cut. I mean, what are you taking back? It's nowhere anybody can live without 3 or 4 weeks of electrical linemen and all kinds of tradesmen in there to get the place a bit of habitable again.
It is. It's rubble. So in some place.
Let me 4.1 million people have fled Ukraine so far.
Damn.
4.1 million
Damn.
people. And most of them are heading over here to Poland.
Immigration. Do what?
I said most of them are heading into Poland where they're trying to absorb all of this. So are you aware that 1 in 10 people in the UK has the AB.2 Omicron variant?
Right. And I've been hearing that we're going to have another surge.
It goes Hong Kong, then it goes London, then it goes New York, and from there it's, days until it's in
and we are at
Atlanta.
982,533 deaths. I hope people that thought at 200,000 deaths it was all fake. Maybe as we approach 1 million, you're thinking it over again.
And we topped 80 million infected this week. All right, Paul, I'm going to let you talk more about crime and the cover story in the Lagniappe this week.
Cover story in Lagniappe. Those of you that not familiar with Lagniappe's a weekly publication put out in Mobile, circulated in Baldwin County as well, free, or you can go online. This week, the lead article is Triggered, Caught in a Crossfire. This is by Gabe Times. I think what is the most telling about the article is that the little kid, there's a kid in, let me get over here. The kid has got a bullet around his neck, a stray bullet that pierced 2 walls and ripped through Orion's arm just before 11 p.m. on December 3rd, 2021, now hangs around his neck on a silver chain like a winner's medal. He calls it his bullet. And, they had a triple, was it a triple murder just the other day? And so far, 12 homicides, 40 injured, 118 reported shootings. Sounds like Panama City on spring break over there in Mobile. And causing quite a rift in the community. You have a new district attorney that's running over there. She's a Democrat. And, of course, what she's saying is she's going to fight crime. They all say the same thing, whether they're Democrat, independent, or whatever. They're going to fight crime and, put an end to it. But it is really, this is a 2-page article that Gabe has written talking about everything from the kid getting shot to public collateral in all of these shootings, people that are caught in the crossfire, people that are targeted while they're out for ice cream. So I don't know. Mobile's got a very, very serious problem.
How about people at a candlelight vigil for the victims of a prior shooting?
Yes. Yes, my God, how could it
where
get
the
any
chief of
worse than
police
that?
and the SWAT team are there, and shots ring out.
There's the people that are using these guns and are doing this just don't seem to have any damn fear whatsoever
or sense.
That's what I think is more scary. Now, the sheriff, on a Facebook post written by Scott Johnson, Concealed and Carry, he went on to say that a lot of this was caused by the permitless carry, which I don't believe whatsoever, because that just happened about 2 weeks ago.
It's not even law yet.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't take effect till January 1st.
Accusation. And then right below that is the article, Double Homicide. Mobile Police Department confirms teens victims on Azalea Road shooting. And I think you said they picked up those people already, Harry?
Yes.
Let's see if I can pick it out. The one thing that gets me is the district attorney. This is Dale Leash, Democrat DA candidate, would focus on violent crime, Jill of all trades. And this is a Democrat that's going to be running against the vacated position over there. And it just makes you wonder. The one thing she says she's going to be against crime, and then the next thing she gets out of her mouth is that she is going to she would have started investigating the Pritchard Waterboard thing upon the first complaints that came in. So it makes you wonder just what is going on with that Pritchard Waterboard thing.
Nobody investigates complaints when they come in. From a practical perspective, when you go to the DA and you say, hey, I think pick a town, the Fairhope Waterboard is stealing from the people, they'll say, well, you need to write a letter to the Ethics Commission.
Right.
And then when the Ethics Commission does nothing, they say, well, I told you to go see the Ethics Commission. They're the ones responsible for that. So it's all deflection. No one has ever taken, what's a good way to put it? No one has ever taken the reins.
Right. And there is currently there's no accountability or transparency whatsoever. The higher you get up in the chain, like our current attorney general, the worse it gets, to where they're talking about national politics and nothing to do with Alabama. Anyway, Ashley Rich is going to be stepping down, and Moshe Donald will be the one running against her. So on the Democratic side, so we'll see what happens. But Mobile does have a serious problem, which is being addressed by the police as much as they possibly can be, and they're not being very effective. They're not able to curtail us over there.
So the mayor says that the justice system is broken and criticizes judges for prioritizing bail over public safety, and we covered that last time. So anyway, the judges came out on Thursday and said that's not true. Now, I don't know what their excuse is. They said it's offensive and false.
So all of this that we're reading and all of this that we're seeing is fictitious. The judges know the best, right?
Well,
I mean,
So Sandy Stinson's not blaming them. He's blaming them because there aren't enough of them. He's blaming the legislature. So
and
is
the
it the
criminal
legislature's
justice
fault
system.
or not? What's the whole? It's the entire court system, Paul.
Correct. I totally agree.
So, I mean, what do you think about it taking 2.5 years to get divorced from somebody?
Right. Or a assault case or something like that, or a small fraud case taking 2, 3, 4 years in Baldwin County.
Still don't have a settlement agreement. So,
right.
So guess what? We got some good news. The Ladd Peebles Stadium Shooter, remember that was during football season, right? So he's been on the run. And after 6 months, he was found in St. Augustine.
Boy, it must have been hot on his tail to track him all the way down there.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's been all over Facebook and everywhere else. So, Representative Stringer defends his transportation payments from campaign account. So, I too have a campaign account. I have never taken any money out of there for transportation or anything else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just one of those things you kind of got to eat as the candidate, is getting yourself to and from.
Well, you see, Harry Shriver received 11,624. Matt Simpson 11,411. Maggie Wilcox 11,2. Shane Stringer, he's fourth on the list at 10,7.
Who'd they get the money from?
You tell me.
I don't know. So, Mo Brooks lost his MAGA endorsement from President Trump. And it looks
I could see that coming.
It looks like Mike Durant, who has yet to say a word, he was on Alabama Journal this past week. Did you watch it?
I did not.
Yeah, you didn't miss much. It was same old crap. We're going to build the border wall. We're going to do, all this old MAGA stuff. And, he's just another guy, right place, right time, who had friends in the Pentagon, who's now a multimillionaire. And he said, hey, I think I'll use my Black Hawk Down celebrity to go buy a Senate seat in Alabama, just like Tuberville did.
And this is exactly
Is that
what,
blunt enough for you, Mr. Rip?
Well, yeah, but this was also predicted that Trump would drop Mo Brooks once he became.
No, son. This had to do with when he came down here for that rally, and Mo Brooks got up there and said, we need to put this election stuff behind us. That's when he lost that man's endorsement, and it was just a long time for that tree to fall.
Yeah,
I yelled timber. I yelled timber when I saw that happen. So,
who would you think is a favorite right now in that race?
I say Katie Britt, but you got to remember $14 million of out-of-state money. No, I'm not saying their campaign. What I'm saying is their campaigns haven't spent that much money. I'm saying out-of-state interest groups have spent that much money on that campaign, and Katie Britt's ahead of the pack. Durant's right behind her.
Out-of-state interest groups spend a lot of money on every election that we have that's of any substance, Makes you wonder who the hell's driving it. That's why we don't have gambling, because of out-of-state interest. So what's Kay Ivey up to?
Well,
besides thumbing her fingers.
Yeah, so there's a new ad,
Told you, Kay,
and I thought that we might watch it real quick, because wasn't there an article called Ivying Your Way into Office or something like that?
Meemawing her way into re-election by Jeff Poore on Beltway Beat.
Meemawing her way. Here we go. So let's watch this real quick.
Told you Kay Ivey was going to put lead on that target.
Yep. Record job creation.
America's strongest pro-life law.
Kay blocked Biden's vaccine mandate.
Banned critical race theory.
Sent troops to the border.
Kay kicked so much liberal butt, I bet her leg's tired.
No step too high for a high stepper.
Yes, ma'am.
That's right. What does that mean anyway?
I don't know, but I like it.
Well, let's put that in the log of Alabama advertisement that exemplifies a lot of Alabama, sadly. Anyway, there's two different articles in Lagniappe. One is Governor Ivey needs some substance with her silliness. That's by Ashley Trice. And another one is Meemawing her way to re-election, the Beltway Beat. So both of those give you a perspective on our current governor. And some of those ads are pretty damn ridiculous.
She's going to win. There's nobody.
Sure she is.
She's
she is.
Being a runoff. So
she has been selected to win.
So do you know how I was telling you guys the other day about how many illegal casinos there are in Alabama since the
right? It's unreal. It's just a joke.
Supreme Court's decision in 2021. So anyway, Greene County emerges as flashpoint in Alabama gambling legislation. You can really learn a lot by going observing what's going on when this gambling legislation's on the floor, seeing who all the players are. And I can tell you the people from Greene County are down there and their minions are down there. And by all means, that is one of the places where – so they have a brand new gaming facility that's about to open up there that looks like the Creek Gaming Casino up here in Escambia County. Totally illegal. It's about to open.
Well, I know that.
I mean, in like 4 days, Paul. I'm not talking about like it's going to open in like 3 weeks, or you would think that this would be an issue in somebody's campaign, right?
Look. Here's where you get into this thing of people calling people conservatives or liberals or independents or whatnot. But the reality is this is happening all over the state. No tax dollars. We're not benefiting on it. We still don't have a lottery. We're exporting dollars. It's the same damn thing with the marijuana deal. How in the hell can you sell paraphernalia in every single gas station in Baldwin County and then prosecute somebody for using the drug that you're selling the paraphernalia for?
I don't know, dude. So let's outro with this. You got anything else you want to run through?
Well, in Lagniappe too, they could have a pretty good article, Where to Drink by the Pool During the Spring Break. That's by Allison Shepard in the Hilton Garden Inn and the Holiday Inn Express. Both of those are in Orange Beach, charge $20 to $25 a day for a pass, and they have poolside bar and all the amenities that go with it. So if you want to spend a day and you're not in a hotel, go check in one of those two, pay the $25 for a day. Or let's see, we have, well, that Caught in the Crossfire. People should read that about the problem in Mobile for sure. And I think that's about it with that, Harry, other than I'd like to say with the RIP report that I've been a little slack the last 2 weeks. Been working very hard on Deal with the Devil. Those of you that might be interested, it's deal-with-the-devil. And Deal with the Devil is the case of Murray Lawrence, who was convicted, God knows how, here in Baldwin County. He's been incarcerated for about 17 years. And now that the transcripts has really been looked over, people are wondering how in the world this happened. There's over 275 people that have signed the petition already. There's a Deal with the Devil blog site on Facebook. If you get a chance, go read some of the comments and please participate. Sign the petition. We are working right now with attorneys on a habeas corpus petition that we hope will be filed within the next 60 days. So we'll keep you abreast of that. But check it out on Deal with the Devil.
All right, so I'm going to tell you about a book I read.
All right.
It's by a guy named Jack Davis. It's called The Bald Eagle, The Improbable Journey of America's Bird. And it starts out with, we're about to become a nation. Jefferson, Adams, and Franklin are all tasked with coming up with a seal for the for the United States. And it ends disastrously. The finally a design for the seal was done in 1783 by Charles Thompson, the Secretary of the Continental Congress. Franklin wanted the bird to be the wild turkey, saying that the bald eagle is a bird of bad moral character. He does not get his living honestly. He is too lazy to fish for himself. So,
have you ever seen the? I think that's Central American turkey, the oscillating turkey.
I haven't. I'd like to eat one though. I've never met a turkey I didn't like eating.
It's one of the most beautiful turkeys you've ever seen. It's just got a unreal feather thing. But looking at the way things are today, the turkey might be a little bit more appropriate than the eagle, judging on how things are going from one end to the other.
Well, and then there's an overarching environmental arc to the book, and of course, we almost lost the bald eagle and several other birds of prey to DDT and other pesticides being used.
Right.
And hell, now if you got a small dog, you be careful letting them out the back. They might get eaten by an eagle in certain places in the country.
And they denied that DDT connection for years and years, just like they did Agent Orange in Vietnam, and both were proven to be true.
Turning to South Florida, where the city of Miami Beach has declared a state of emergency, after another outbreak of violence there during spring break, midnight curfews have been extended through at least the weekend to try and keep people off the streets. This latest incident involved a shooting that sent visitors while scrambling for their lives. Manuel Bojorquez is in Miami Beach with more on the story.
Gunfire on a packed South Beach street sent crowds of visitors and spring breakers running for cover. This was just one of 2 shootings that happened this past weekend.
We've had 5 people shot on our streets in the middle of Miami Beach. There's nothing to discuss. This is a public safety emergency.
This video shows officers in golf carts trapped by a crowd of partygoers. 9 officers have been injured. Dan Gelber is the mayor of Miami Beach.
I know it sounds unusual for a mayor of a destination city to say this, but we don't want spring break.
Authorities have impounded 100 firearms over the last month. And it's not just in Miami Beach. There were at least 10 mass shootings across the U.S. this past weekend alone.
So we can't really just stop people from coming onto the city, but we can implement a curfew which makes them less likely to want to be here.
The emergency declaration sets a curfew from midnight to 6 a.m. every night through Monday and bars some alcohol sales after 6 p.m. Wayne and Alicia Lanier are visiting from Birmingham, Alabama.
As moms and dads, we understand that sometimes you have to implement punishment. Curfew is the right thing to do. I'm okay with it.
But there are critics, some in the business community who stand to lose money, and others who say the city's actions unfairly target the largely black crowds. How do you respond to critics who say that this is unfairly targeting young black visitors?
Well, it's targeting young people that are here and acting in a way that they shouldn't. So it's obviously targeting behavior and nothing else.
Of the injured officers and 5 shooting victims, none is said to have life-threatening injuries. That curfew will be lifted on Monday, but the mayor said if necessary, they will bring it back. Gail?
All right, Manny, thank you.
All across spring break, all those cities, all these instances, 100 guns there, 75 guns in friggin' Panama City. Then look at Mobile and what's going down there. It's all guns. What do you do? What is the answer?
Paul,
the answer is not to stand up and say it's your constitutional right to have a damn gun.
If it wasn't guns, it'd be baseball bats and knives.
God, jeez, okay, all right.
It would be. Yes, it would be. Absolutely.
Well, it may be, but it is guns. That's what it is guns.
It's bad actors with guns. Not good guys with guns. Not law-abiding citizens with guns. It's the bad people who have guns who are doing bad things.
There's still
and they're not going to get a permit or anything else. They're going to break the law.
You got police literally all the way across the country saying the same damn thing, and nobody. I mean, and then you have all of these incidents, but nobody wants to do anything against anybody's constitutional right to have a gun. What is the answer? That's what I'm asking you.
The good
what is
guys.
The answer?
The answer is, Paul Rip, get your head out of your ass. If all the good guys had guns, what's the problem?
Well,
the bad guys are going to break the law and going to have guns. It doesn't matter. If you take the guns away from the good guys, you haven't solved the problem, Mr. Rip.
You know what?
That is the crux.
Only time I ever felt like I needed a gun was in Vietnam. I've never felt like I needed a gun in Central
Well, let me
America,
tell you what. I'll
here.
take you somewhere 5 minutes from your house and drop you off and dare you to walk home. 5 minutes from your house.
I used to live in Birmingham, man. Birmingham's worse than Mobile.
Okay. I'm just telling you, there's lots of places where I wouldn't want to be without a firearm. And there are a lot of people
if I had to have a firearm, it would tell me first not to go there.
Well, there's a lot to be said for that, but sometimes we have to go places we don't want to go, just like sometimes I have to go out of the county to practice law, and when I do, I like to carry a weapon with me because I never know what I'm going to run into along the way, especially on the interstate or something.
Well,
How does a good guy like me having a gun add to the violence? It doesn't.
Well,
it's the bad actors.
The same unanswerable.
No, it's
thing
very
as abortion
answerable.
or anything else. We just keep saying the same thing over and over and over again, and we never seem to change or do anything. So,
CBS News is hearing from the security guard who killed a gunman Sunday inside a church in White Settlement, Texas. The gunman shot and killed 2 people before Jack Wilson pulled out his firearm and fired a single fatal shot. The community is calling him a hero who saved lives. And here's our interview from earlier today.
I don't consider myself a hero at all. Did what I was trained to do.
Well, we'll figure it out one day, and I think it's going to be letting good people carry their firearms and exercise their constitutional right.
Well,
and
the good people carrying the firearms aren't at spring break.
Ding, 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 and we'll leave it there. Hey, how about some Governor Ivey? What do you say?
These are a couple of high-stepping turkeys, and you know what to say about a high-stepper.